Welcome back everyone to our gameplay series of Farming Simulator 19. And today's video will be the last video for us here on the Valley map. It has been a great map and I've really enjoyed it, but we're going to be moving on to a new map to test out some different things. And ultimately, I really enjoy testing out the different maps that have been released and seeing what they have to offer as far as unique gameplay for us. So this will be our last video here on this map, and in today's video we're going to do much the same as what we did in the last video. We're going to pick a different field that we don't currently own. We're going to work a contract on that field, and at the same time we're going to have our own workers going on the fields that we do in fact own. So let's go ahead and get the grass cutting started with our Krone mower. Make sure we get over just far enough. That looks to be pretty good. Let's get this guy started and let's come in and take a look. What I'm really looking for is a contract on probably fields 1 through 6. We've done one on 7, so let's pick one on 1 through 6 and see what we've got. So we've got harvesting on 1, harvesting on 6. Not really interested in doing any fertilizing because we'd have to go buy the fertilizer and figure out where we can get that from since we don't have a place on our farm to do so. So I like any of these harvesting, but we got 1, 6, 2, and 4. So basically whatever we want. So 1, 6, 2, and 4. I think we'll go for 1. That's over in the corner. We haven't been over in that area yet. Let's make sure our guy is cutting grass. Looks like he is doing a fantastic job so far. So let's come back in. We'll take field 1. We're going to be harvesting wheat, and you can see we've got some different equipment. I'm actually hoping we don't have to use the header trailer, but let's go ahead and borrow those items, and we'll head over to actually pick these up. Oh yeah, I don't think we're going to need the header trailer, not at all. Of course, that's all assuming that, assuming that I can actually get in here. Okay, so we're going to have to do this the way we've done some of the others, which is we could use a little bit more room over here at the storefront. So we're going to have to turn this around. And then, of course, we've got our tipper and tractor along the way. So we're actually headed to field number 1, which is over in the corner. Okay, there's the edge of field number 7, and quite a bit of room right here in this area. But I believe, let's see, yeah, a big portion of that is actually going to be field number 3, which apparently has been planted with grass. That would explain why there's no harvesting really to be done there unless you want to cut some grass. So again, the field sizes are fairly small, but this gives us an opportunity to move up on the northern part of the map. You can see our citizens out walking the streets this morning. Yeah, they're all out getting their lunchtime walk in. So we're going to be heading over to field number 1, which we are almost to. And we're going to cut some wheat. Okay, a little bit of room on the northern side of field 1, but not really anything that you can actually utilize. Alright, so I'm actually going to try to use my wheel and pedals here for the first time. I've got them hooked up. Let's see how well they work. Let's go ahead and get our equipment. Okay, let's make sure I've done everything short of turning on the harvester. Oh yeah, we got to unfold it first. That might help. Okay, let's head inside and let's see what we got. All right, not bad. I think we're getting everything on the edge, and I'm going to try to stay as straight as possible. So I'm using my Logitech 920 wheel and pedal set. Now I have had to make some alterations to the pedals to keep them functional as best I can, because we've been having some serious issues with those, but so far so good. Alright, the view from inside the cab is interesting simply because I have such a limited view because I don't have any peripheral vision, or at least very little of it, and I don't have a really good way of turning my head while I am, like right here, I am going to have to turn this wheel an absolute ton to try to get it turned around. Yeah, that is no fun at all. I'm going to have to work on that. Let's actually go out. And I was going to try to do this without getting into this other field, but there's simply just not enough room. A lot of force feedback, that's for sure. Alright, let's get lined up. Yeah, that's going to take some getting used to due to that limited visibility, and then of course we got some issues here to deal with in the steering wheel, but overall it certainly adds to the experience having a wheel, no doubt about that. So we're going to finish up this row, and then I'm going to turn it over to our AI worker for a bit, and we're actually going to go and grab the other tractor and the tipper. I feel like I'm steering the wheel way too much for this, but it's almost like the field isn't aligned perfectly straight, or we're not able to track perfectly straight. All right, so let's see if we can make this turn without having to go to the outside view. I have the wheel at max rotation. All 900 degrees of it were needed here. Wow, that is a lot of turning. And this wheel, of course, makes a lot of noise because it's belt driven, and you can just hear the gears grinding in there as you turn the wheel back and forth. Thankfully, whenever you're racing, you never really turn the wheel very much past about 90 degrees for the most part on NASCAR ovals. If you want to get a little bit more adventurous in some of the road courses and some of the other types of cars like GT and so on, then you'd have to go a little farther than that. But for the most part, 90 degrees will be sufficient. But certainly not in this game. All right, let's try this again. Here we go. Let's load them up. I'm going to try to go off a little bit to the left. And yes, we are running all over your crops. Thankfully, no crop destruction. But this is why you give some room in between fields. All right, so admittedly, I am certainly enjoying this much more with the wheel. I've got a long way to go. I would actually like to decrease the amount of force feedback that I'm feeling right now on this wheel. So I'll have to look into all that after we get done with today's video, but I did want to test it out with you guys and just give you an initial feel for what I am finding with this wheel and pedal set. Of course, I've kept the throttle pedal all the way to the floor this entire time, trying to make wide turns off the field rather than trying to turn within the field. All right, we are coming up on about halfway full, and I am in no way keeping this thing straight. That is, I'm trying to, but for whatever reason, I am unable to even come close. All right, so once again, crank up that wheel. This is one of the downsides of having this type of wheel, is you really hear it whenever you're turning in a very wide radius, and it does not turn quickly. So I could use a little bit more sensitivity here so that we didn't have to go through all that. But yeah, I'd intended to only do one, maybe two passes on the field. before turning it over to the AI worker so that we could grab the other equipment. But at this point, I'm really enjoying myself. So that's why I've kept at it. I'm going to have to give it up here within the next pass or so that we can go get the tipper, because we're going to need to unload here fairly soon. But yeah, if I can get some adjustments made to the wheel, then in future videos, I think that we got the all clear here to use this particular method for doing a lot of our field work. All right, once again, let's give this wheel a huge turning radius here. Again, just trying not to use reverse right now, because that would require me to turn even more. All right, so that turned out okay. Okay, now new plan. We're gonna finish up this particular row, and then I'm gonna turn it over to the AI worker. Or at least that's the plan. So I can always turn my head using the mouse, but that is, particularly with the amount of force feedback I've got right now in this wheel, that is not a comfortable thing to do, because this is definitely stronger than the force feedback I feel in NASCAR Heat 3. And I'm not complaining. It actually feels good. I really wish I had this type of feedback in NASCAR Heat 3, quite frankly. But here, yeah, it is very, very strong. But again, I'm sure there's ways to fine-tune on that, hopefully anyway. So I'll look into that going forward. All right, let's get this guy roughly lined up in my kind of going straight. All right, I have to get used to that. Using reverse makes you go backwards, or excuse me, using the brake makes you go backwards. Let's go ahead and hire a worker, and we're gonna hop over and pick up our other couple of pieces of equipment that we're gonna need. That is a very tall tipper. They have got some serious side extensions on that. Now we need to head over, and we need to get ready to unload. Ooh, hello. Trying to go back to the keyboard right now and see how I like it compared to the wheel, and boy, can you tell. Having to use that keyboard, it is a whole different feeling. Let's go back to the wheel. Let's get our camera all set. Okay, we definitely got a little bit of wandering in the wheel. Everything not wanting to go exactly straight. All right, we learned last time that since we don't own these fields while we're working on them, we don't have to worry about crop destruction. All right, we're actually going to let this guy get turned around, and then we are going to drive out beside him and get him emptied out. So the AI definitely has a better way of getting turned than what I was using, but I was just trying to keep it simple. All right, we'll let this guy get going. And then let's see, I don't know exactly how long. There's, you can see, no crop destruction. All right, let's see exactly how long this arm is. All right, we should be pretty good shape right here. Yeah, there we go. It's just about perfectly in the middle. It's certainly a little bit easier to adjust the speed of the tipper to the speed of the combine when you're using a wheel and pedals, because I can just make subtle adjustments here to the gas pedal and we come across just fine. All right, let's get out of his way. We're going to take this over, and actually, I need to come back out, and let's see, where does he want us to take it? Panvita, which I believe is the one, yes, still up here in this corner where we went last time. Let's actually head from the first-person view inside the cockpit. And once again, the bad thing is I can't really see very much. The mirrors are pretty good on this tractor as far as letting me see what's beside me, as well as keeping an eye on the trailer behind me. So, not too bad. Let's see, here's where we need to go. We'll head in here and hopefully get this tipper unloaded without too much issue. Ooh, hear those gears turning. Alright, is there a reason why I don't yet see the ability to tip? Okay, I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to back out a little bit. Yes. Alright, so for whatever reason, I did not see that option when I was inside the cab. Maybe it shows up in a different spot, but I never saw the eye function to start the overloading. That was weird. Didn't see that one. Alright, let's crank on that wheel. I mean, no doubt, this is how much I'd have to crank on the wheel in real life, but for the purposes of the type of wheel that we're using here and all of the noise that it makes when you have to really turn it probably beyond around 180 degrees, maybe not quite that much. If you have to turn it that much, you're going to start to hear those gears turning. And for me, that really breaks the immersion. It would be nice if I didn't have to hear all of that grinding going on. All right, trying to get an eye out for where our combine is. All right, we're going to let him get turned around on the field, going the opposite direction, and then we'll go ahead and empty out what little he's probably got on board right now, and then we're going to leave the tractor and tipper over here on the side, and we're going to head back over and see how we're doing with our grass, because I believe it should be plenty of time now for us to get started. Well, maybe. There we go. Now he backs up. Should be time to get started with our tedder. Alright, there we go. Now the bad part of this is I'm not going to be able to tell if he's tipping or not, but for right now we're going to try to get right up even with his header for the most part. And let's see if he starts. Okay, I might be a little too close to him. Okay. Okay, no, we're going to have to be out in front of him a good bit more than I thought. Okay, nope, that's really hard to do from the inside view. I am terrible at that. All right, so we'll go ahead and take what he's got, and you can see that now he is all caught up. So we'll move over and park our tipper on the side. Okay, looks like this guy's a little over 1,100 in his storage tank, so he's not very far along at all. And for just a moment, I am going to take over for this guy because I was quite enjoying myself. All right, first things first, let's make sure we've got everything on that we want. We'll go ahead and turn on the harvester. And here we go. I do love the animation of the crops as you run over them, even though there's no crop destruction. They do lean over. You can just tell they're giving up. All right, here we go. So far, so good. I'm reasonably straight. The AI making me look bad with their perfectly straight lines. But I don't see that he missed any as I look over to the right. It doesn't look like he missed any, so maybe I wasn't too bad as I'm veering off course now. Try to make some small corrections, but nothing like what I have to do with the keyboard. So this is a pretty good size combine for the size fields that you get into on this map. Now, even with that being said, I would still come in with a much bigger header in particular. So we'd have to get a better combine long term, simply because this is a game and time is limited. So when I can get tasks done quicker by using a little bit better equipment, in this case wider working width, then I am all for it. Alright, yeah, I'm having a hard time keeping this guy straight. You can see it on the steering wheel. I'm having to go back and forth. The combine is definitely wandering on me. Like our front end suspension is a little bit out of alignment, pulling us to the side. All right, there we go. We'll try to do maybe one more pass, and we'll go back over and check on our guys cutting the grass as well as using the tedder, just to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Every once in a while the AI gets a little bit confused because I've combined those two fields. So we'll keep an eye on them and hopefully they'll do their job. I believe it was the last time we were cutting and using the tedder and windrower and so on, that the AI actually missed a large portion of one of the fields. I don't remember which one, but they missed a large portion of our combined fields. Okay, that might have been a little bit off center right there. Not sure what happened right there. That might have been, I might have lost consciousness right there, because that is way off. Yeah, here we go again. We're doing quite a bit of swerving here. Good thing there are no cops on the map. They might pull me over and make me walk the line, because I am certainly not doing a good job. I would not be able to hold my job as a combine operator for very long at all. They'd probably see my work, give me a few bucks and say, we appreciate the effort, but we're going to go a different direction. All right, let's get him lined up. And we're going to press H for the worker, and we're going to let him do work the way it's supposed to be done. All right, let's head over, and so far, of course, I wouldn't expect any issues here on field number 11 since I didn't have to combine it or anything. So he's just doing his standard work here. Let's check on our grass. Spin around. You can see that area right in the center where the grass has been tethered and is now considered hay, but he didn't go over that area, it doesn't appear. Or maybe he did catch the edge of it. But that's the part of the field they don't like, is right in between. There's a few sections there that really seem to confuse the AI, although it is better working in this direction as opposed to north and south. So far, so good. Let's actually expand. Nope, we can't expand the map. I almost did it. Then I remembered it doesn't really get any bigger. Let's head back over and see how our combine is doing. All right, not too bad. It's almost time that he's going to need to be unloaded. So let's actually hop back in. And once again, we're going to be grateful for no crop destruction. There we go. Just enough room there. Oh, let's don't spill any. Even graphically. Alright, come on, keep up. Oh yeah, we're killing it here. We are killing it. Yeah, pay no attention to that piece that's going off the side there. Yeah, pay no attention to that. We're going to look at it from this angle. We're going to let him get out of the way, and we're going to head over once again. Let's see. Nope. We're going to be in his way. That's all right. He doesn't seem to care. He's just going to run us over. I guess that was our cue to get out of the way. Very quiet inside these cabs. If I was doing this, it would be very easy to fall asleep, because what you've got is a slight hum is about all you can hear from the engine. And that would probably be just about enough to allow me to go to sleep. Alright, once again, we don't have the option to start overloading yet. I'm going to wait and see if it pops up. And I would have expected it to pop up. Is it somewhere else on the screen? I don't see it. If I just hit I, will it work anyway? It will. Of course, I don't have a good way of knowing whether or not I'm actually over the tipping area, but Farming Sim is great about helping you out with that. Because if you're not over the tipping area, then you're going to have to do something other than pressing I in order to tip there. Okay, we'll head back over and get this guy parked. We'll probably go ahead and unload whatever he's got currently in storage. But other than that, we'll head back over and see how our guys are doing with the grass. The tedder should be about finished. But there's certainly, on this map, even though there's not that many fields and the fields are not that large, there's still plenty to do here, and a nice amount of room to put buildings, animal enclosures, pretty much anything you would want. There's enough room to do so, because as they give you two very large areas, considering the size of the map anyway, two very large areas to put all of your buildings, parking areas, and so forth. All right, we're going to let this guy get turned around, then we're going to look at that. He is so much more efficient at doing that than I am. All right, let's go ahead and get back to the outside view, simply so that I can line up the tipper. Yeah, he's going to do a multi-point turn and try to get himself all lined up, but it certainly takes him several steps to get there. There we go. Now he's out and on his way. So we'll go ahead and take what he's got on board, and this should be the last time that we have to empty him before he reaches the end of his field work. So that should be pretty good timing. I could use some of this straw for my cows, but unfortunately they're not going to let me gather that straw. Alright, there we go. So we got a little over 1,900. We'll go ahead and park this guy. Let's head back over to our field, and let's get rid of that worker, because we got here at perfect time. Let's go ahead and lower the header and turn it on, and we're going to finish this one up. So this one turned out pretty good. I'm not going to have to go back over the field and pick up all the little scraps that I missed the first time through. So overall, I would call this experiment with the wheel and pedals a resounding success. Still some work to do. I got to get some settings adjusted, but very happy for the first time out. As long as my pedals will hang in there with me, we should be able to continue at least partially using the wheel and pedal set. So let's go ahead and extend our pipe. There we go. Now let's get our tipper in position. And we should be all set. This should be our final load to take over to be sold. Okay, fortunately we can see in the distance, looks like everything is progressing as normal. Tipper and windrower are doing their job. All right, tipper is fully loaded, or at least as fully loaded as it's going to be. All right, let's hop back inside the tractor and we'll take it over to the selling area. So not much room in between these fields. These fields really could be combined into one, and probably should be for the purposes of working them, if that were easily doable. All right, let's see if we can find our roadway. There it is. There's our path over to the sell point. It certainly feels better to actually be driving the tractor or combine as opposed to trying to keyboard drive it. Feels much better to be using a wheel. All right, somewhere along in here ought to be okay. We'll press the I key, and sure enough, it works. Out of curiosity, oh yeah, we had plenty of room. Plenty of room. And sure enough, that should be it. Let's actually come back out, head over to take a look at our contract. It does say completed. We're going to make a little over $2,100 out of that, but of course that's not the reason why we did it. Let's go ahead and collect our money, and we are done. See, all of our equipment now disappears, and we're all set. We'll take one more quick look to see how everything is going on the field work. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like what I see over there out of the windrower. I don't like that at all. Okay, yep, he was trying to work the area between the fields. That's what he was trying to do. So they really want to combine these fields and continue working, but it just doesn't quite work out. One time I actually caught one of these guys just doing circles out there. So yeah, it's a good thing we caught him when we did. He didn't really make too much of a mess, and we can get him all straightened out. Okay, so we'll get basically all of it. Still a little bit of hay over on the roadway itself, but not a huge deal. And it looks like the tedder is almost done. So everything is working great. And for the most part, things went fairly smoothly here in our final video on the Valley map. So thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned as next time we'll move to a new map here in our gameplay series of Farming Simulator 19.